Can you define creativity?
Yes, I think I can. It is an urge and an impulse to make something.
Do you think that creativity is something that can be learned or developed? Or is it just one of those things you are either born with or not?
Creativity is something that can definitely be learned and developed. Some people may be born more inclined to creativity than others, but I certainly believe everybody's got it in them. It's just a question of plugging into it and using what you've got.
When did you first start creating things? And when did you realize that this meant you were a creative person?
I firmly believe I started creating things as soon as I was a tiny child, and I think that most children do, whether it's drawings or, painting on the wall. I mean, anything, that's a creative thing, and I did it, definitely. When did I first realize I was a creative person? I would probably say early in primary school, age, 6, 7, 8, something like that, because I loved writing and I loved stories, and that was my thing, and it's still my thing.
Why do you continue to create? Do you feel like you have a choice?
I create because it's my living, so I also create outside my living. Sometimes the things I do outside my living come inside my living, which is good, because it means that things that I enjoy become something that I can make some money out of, which is great. But I do enjoy my job. My job is a creative job, and I continue to create things every day, which is good.
Can you describe your creative routine? Do you actually have one?
This is a double answer question for me, because I do have a creative routine. The creative routine I have at work is different to the one that I have outside of work, when I'm doing something more for myself. When I'm at work, the process is pretty rigid. I generally work with people. I'm an editor, so I'm getting vast swathes of rushes from location, and I am filtering and distilling and paring away and bringing things down into something that is digestible for a producer or a director to look at. We work together, we collaborate, we talk about what I've done, and we go from there. So that is the method at work. At home, it's very different. Outside of my work, there are many different creative paths that I take. Very quickly, I would say the most creative space is when I've had time to think.
Are there particular things that you do that result in creative ideas, or specific places you like to go, like art museum or showering or running in the park or what have you?
I find that creative ideas come out of nowhere at strange times. I can be on a tube, a bus, I can be cycling. I'm a very keen cyclist, I cycle a lot. Cycling is somehow meditative and metronomic, and I can be out in the country lanes, I can be cycling over one of London's bridges, and something will suddenly spark walking down the street. The thing that I love about having an iPhone is I can jump on notes and write it down real quick. I've got a billion of them. I haven't done anything with a lot of them, but they're there, and I love it when they come up.
How do you separate your creative urges into the different things that you do, such as editing, music, writing, etc.?
It's very simple in terms of separating out my creative urges. Now, I'm an editor. The creative urge at work is fairly carefully managed, and we work very hard to create things for our clients and our broadcasters and the people that we work with, production companies, to make something that they can use. So that's a very carefully managed creative urge, and I know when I walk into work that I'm going to be using it. In the other sides of things that I do, if I'm pitching programs or writing a script, or maybe planning a photography session of some kind, then it's different. The creative urge, I would say the most spontaneous creative urge is writing. You come up with something, you write down a note, you go away and work it up. That is a real genesis, a real start point, and that is exciting. I feel with a camera, as much as I love photography deeply, you're only as good as the moment that you capture. And by that I mean, if the moment's not happening, you ain't going to get it. You can be the best photographer in the world and you ain't going to get it because it's not there. With writing, you can create it.
Do you ever feel creatively blocked? And how do you keep inspired enough to continue creating? Any really practical things that you've discovered that you could share?
Yes, I do feel creatively blocked. Do you know what's funny? I often feel creatively blocked when I've been working very, very hard at editing, which is in itself a creative thing. It saps my juice. It takes the fuel and the energy. And if you're doing it 60 hours a week, as I sometimes do, there is no space left for other things. And yes, I do get creatively blocked. And how do I feel inspired enough to keep creating? There isn't a reason behind that one. When things come up, they come up, and you create stuff. That's how it goes. In order to be creative, I think it's important to relax and free your mind. The best things that I come up with are when I've allowed myself to take a break. And I don't mean 2 weeks in the south of France, that's good. You can go for a walk around the block. You can just take 10 minutes out of your day and try and clear your mind. Maybe try meditating. I do yoga. Not really good with meditating, but yoga's my thing, along with cycling. And those two things are essentially, I think, think, quite meditative, and they allow my brain to relax. A relaxed brain comes up with stuff. You need to allow yourself the space.
How does creativity function in your life? What does it give to you?
Creativity functions in my life because it's what I do for a living. I mean, it's part of every day, and so it functions. It's as important as sticking food in my mouth and going to the shops. It's part of what I do. It's part of my life. So it's everything. Without creativity, there's no me. What does it give to me? Creativity gives me a great outlet. You can't buy it. It gives you the freedom to express yourself in whatever medium you choose. That's what it allows me to do.